It's pretty true with any phase of football that um, knowing what your position does and knowing what the assignments are and all that is a great portion of the battle. But it's also very helpful if you know enough about your opponent and what they're trying to do. And what we want to talk to you about today is with your offensive line. And we're in the protection section right here, but it could be applicable to your RPO section, your run section, or anything. And what we're talking about is just the understanding of fronts, understanding of the way the secondary rotates and what that does to you in not only protections, but if it's an RPO, is your quarterback likely to dial up the run or dial up the pass, which a lot of the challenges presented to the offensive line these days are how are they aggressive on the on the run blocking, and all of a sudden it's a pass and they're downfield. And some of that can be helped with the quarterback having some type of code, and some of that can be handled with maybe your offensive line understanding that a two deep shell is oftentimes going to be a run. And if you get into a middle of field closed shell, then you're going to be in a passing situation. Now, we're in the protection section once again right here. But the thing we want to point out is that regardless if you're playing in the year 2019 or if you're playing in the year 1964, essentially you've got either a 4-down and 3 backers. There's going to be nickel and substitutes as far as DBs for linebackers. We understand that. But you're going to have either a 4-3 or a 3-4 shell. And then you're going to have 4 other defenders back there that are secondary players. And it's important that your players recognize rotation. And I'm not talking about just your quarterback and your running back. I'm talking about your offensive line needs to understand that once they get this shell down, all right, with the 3 down, 4 backers or the 4 down, 3 backers, if they can understand the rotation of the safeties, it's going to go a long way to help them be more sound with their protections and also not essentially try to block ghost. So this is one example right here to where obviously it's strong rotation, the strong safety's down, you're in an over front, you got the sandbacker on the line of scrimmage, and so the back in this protection, we've got the back protecting strong, and then the offensive line has got essentially the 4 down back to the mic. And in this situation where the strong rotation shows up, now your back is going to rotate Sam to strong safety, okay? And they won't go Sam to Mike like they normally would because really this Will backer here can't come. Now let's go back and take a look at this middle field open so you can understand what we're talking about. Typically, 2 deep, that offensive line now has 4 down back to the Will. The back has Mike to Sam, okay? But now when you get strong rotation, now you just have to look out and identify either the quarterback or normally the center and realize that that Will backer is going to have a hard time coming unless that end is going to drop out or unless this Mike backer is going to drop out. And that's when your tackle and guard need to sift and pick up some type of sort where they block the people coming and obviously not the ones that are dropping out. Now, as you come back over, you get into some 3-4 looks. Once again, here's your offensive line. Has got the 3 down, all right, and they're going back to the jack and the Will, just in case that Will comes and that free safety comes over the top. The back has got the Mike and the Sam, inside out. Now, once you close the middle of the field, all right, and we closed it to the strong side, once again, you have the same situation. There's no sense in the offensive line pushing all the way out here to this Will when the Will is not backed up. If the Will comes, that jack is going to have to fly out of there, and once again, the guard and the tackle will sort all that out. So the point is that as you're an offensive line coach, and the more that your players, all right, can understand safety rotation, too high, what that means, what that doesn't mean, and then you could actually get some rotation to the weak side here. What does that mean? The more of those type of things you can teach, then the better off you're going to be as an offensive line coach.